Hello, my name is Ubaldo Acosta. I hope you're ready to begin. Let's review the general agenda of a Spring Framework course. Are you ready? Let's go. Starting. Introduction to the Spring Framework. In this section, we'll study an introduction to the Spring Framework. We'll study some of the features of this incredible framework. We'll review a three-layer architecture and the main role played by Spring Framework. We'll review a three-layer architecture and the main role played by Spring Framework. We'll discuss how he redefined the development of enterprise applications in Java. We'll also carry out the installation of the tools that we'll use throughout the course, and we'll create a first Hello World project using a Spring Framework. The basis. Spring Framework philosophy. In this section, we'll review the philosophy of Spring, which promotes a high cohesion and low coupling between its components or Java classes, in addition to using concepts such as aspect-oriented programming. We'll also discuss the concept of Spring Factory, as well as the life cycle of the beans in Spring. We'll do an exercise to put this concept into practice. Dependencies. Dependency injection with Spring. We'll review the concept of dependency injection. We'll see what the control inversion is and how Spring implements this in the factory, or also known as a bean factory. We'll create an exercise to put this topic into practice. AOP, Aspect-Oriented Programming. In this section, we'll analyze the concept of Aspect-Oriented Programming, AOP, and how Spring implements this concept. In addition, we'll see the concept of transversal functionality or cross-coding and how it relates to AOP. We'll also study the AOP terminology. We'll do an exercise to put into practice the use of AOP with Spring Framework. Persistence, Spring JDBC. In this section, we'll study the Spring JDBC theme and how it simplifies data access to a Spring Framework by improving several points of the JDBC API. For example, exception handling, JDBC templates classes, among many more improvements. We'll also review the callback methods in Spring and how they help us when using Spring JDBC. We'll create several exercises to put all these concepts into practice. Applications of AOP. Handling transactions with Spring. We'll see the handling of transaction with Spring and the characteristics of a transaction. We'll see how to define a transaction manager object in a Spring Framework. We'll review the types of transaction manager objects that we can use in Spring, and we'll see the attributes of a transaction. We'll carry out an exercise to put these concepts into practice. Integrations. Spring integration with JPA. We'll review a three-layer architecture and the role played by Spring and JPA in this architecture. We'll also see how Spring integrates with JPA and the advantages of this integration. In this exercise, we'll review an integration locally, and in the following exercise, we'll use an application server to use JTA in this integration, Java Transaction API. We'll create an exercise to put these concepts into practice. Integrating everything. Real-world web application with JSF, Prime Faces, Spring, and JPA. We'll create three-layer application where we'll use JSF with Prime Faces as a presentation layer, and we'll see the integration with Spring Framework in the business layer. And we'll use JPA in the data layer, configuring it to use JTA, Java Transaction API, to connect to a database from a Java application server. This application will serve as the basis for your own Java web and enterprise applications, combining the mentioned technologies. Broadly speaking, this is the general agenda of the Spring Framework course. These are just some of the many more topics we'll learn throughout this course. So if you're ready, let's start immediately.